Hi Taurus, welcome to your mid-November 2019 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. So I'm going to be doing a typical spread that I do for my tarot readings. And I will also be picking a card from The Universe Has Your Back tarot. Well, it's an oracle deck actually. I don't know if it's an... What would it be called? Let's see what she calls it. Gabrielle Bernstein. She just calls it a deck. It's not really oracle. It's just like an affirmation deck. I think it's based on the Course in Miracles. Not sure, but she's associated with that. So anyway, this is the Morgan Greer deck. This is the deck I use most often. Sometimes people ask me, which deck this is. It's very faithful to Rider-Waite. So you will see similar imagery, although it's very bright, colorful, borderless, the cards. I want to tell you about some things that are happening for you in this mid-month period. Actually, as I record this, these are things in the future. So I'll give you the dates, because they're kind of leading up to the mid-month, not necessarily in that time frame. I'm going to pick an additional card. Okay. So the full moon is in your sign this month, and this is on November 12th, and it is at 19 degrees of Taurus. So full moon in your sign, there might be some kind of a closure, an ending to a way of life, a cycle in your life. You are having a new moon, or you did have a new moon in your 7th house at the end of October. So there could be some kind of connection with that, where there's like, that was a new beginning, and then it's the end of an old way of being. An example would be if any of you got married or moved in with somebody. So, taking a relationship to the next level of commitment, which is the 7th house. And that means you have to let go of your bachelor days, male or female. And just the way that you live life. When you live with somebody else, it's just naturally going to be different. So that's just an example of things that might be changing. And the day before that, we have the 1111 portal. I haven't done a video on this. I know that some people who are doing similar things to me make these types of videos. The reason I haven't done it is because that's not something that I feel I have an expertise in, and I enjoy watching other people's videos on these things. I'm an 11 life path, so I vibrate with the number 11. Basically, if you feel like this is a very powerful time, this is on Monday. I think for a lot of us, that the 11th is occurring, and perhaps that's something where you need to, be like vigilant, or meditate, whatever it is that tunes you into the new cycle that you are to step into. Now for Taurus, this is especially important because there is also the fact of your full moon taking place the next day. And we are having also the Venus-Jupiter conjunction close to the galactic center, and this is actually occurring later in the month, around the 23rd and onwards of November. But even if it's not exact, it's within a few degrees. And so the fact that Venus and Jupiter are in conjunction at all is great too, because they are very they're good money manifestors, for instance. So things, a lot of people can feel that pull, or that, that desire to have more money in their life, and it might even feel like hopeless, and then you have something occur that makes it possible when it seemed like it wasn't. So in general, and you're ruled by Venus, so this conjunction may be especially important for you. Hey, I'm Taurus rising, so I'll say that for me too. Okay. The heart of the matter is the Hermit card. So kind of like what I've been talking about, perhaps in the aftermath of the 11/11 portal and the full moon in your sign, you're in a very thoughtful type of a mood, Taurus. Maybe this is provoking you to take a deeper look at your life. Oh, well, yes, actually, to tell you the truth, when there's a full moon in one sign, that means that the sun is in the other sign. So that is when the sun is in that 7th house for you in Scorpio at the time of the full moon in your sign. So this could be a possibility where you have separated from a partner. Now, this is something that would have already happened by now, and that's why you're living by yourself and you're trying to sort things out. And this is about, the full moon can bring to light your needs in regards to another person. However, in some cases, you may highlight or you may become aware of that you've been an asshat. I mean, you know, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm saying that sometimes people in the heat of the moment, they think that they're right, and then when they've had time to really contemplate things, they're like, wow, you know, I didn't really see what I was doing to that other person. I was being too possessive. I'm just thinking of like the possible shadow aspects of Taurus. I was being too possessive. I wasn't seeing their point of view. I just wanted to see my point of view. I was very stubborn just in the things that I wanted to do. I didn't want to try new things. I was, you know, too content to kind of like chill on the sofa after I got home from work. I just didn't feel like moving after that. And my partner's very active, and they felt like I was being like a bump on a log and stuff like that. And, you know, these kinds of things can happen. Or you may say, I gave up too much for that person. That person really was trying to act like the world revolved around them, and I kind of went along with it. I was a codependent, so that could be possible. The Hermit card connects with Virgo, so if there's an important Virgo person in your life, they may be making an appearance. This is during a Mercury retrograde. Mercury goes direct on the 20th, still in its shadow. I don't know, probably for the rest of the month. I have to check on that. I'm one of those people. I know dates, but I don't necessarily keep up with it when a planet goes direct. I just assume, hey, it's direct. But, you know, like for instance, Jupiter is still in its shadow as I record this, and I forgot about that. I was like, yeah, you know, Jupiter won't go out of its shadow until like, I think it's around the full moon, 12th or so. So that's pretty interesting. So in the past position, that means that then it will fully move forward. And we will have approximately, I would say, 10 days to enjoy Jupiter in all its glory moving forward before it goes into Capricorn. So, but then we have that conjunction with the galactic center. So I think we're going to end the month of November on a good note, most of us. And the other thing too is I will be back with a late month kind of update. The past position, we have the Ace of Swords, and this is kind of seeing things as they really are more clearly, kind of like getting more of a handle on what's really going on and having your head clear. about something. And that can be really nice because you may have been in the dark about something, or confused, I should say, and everything started to add up. Now, this could have been just the typical denial where people don't want to face the truth. Who knows? It just is. Now, I'm not getting a vibe of career matters here. I'm getting more of a personal vibe. So usually I try to keep it universal, but in this case, I'm going to like focus on relationships. We have here is the higher message. The Four of Wands, which is a card of home, happy home, or maybe a new home. And it's like if you were planning on moving or upgrading your current home, maybe, like I said, you were even planning to get married or you had recently done so. Sometimes I get these cards where I almost feel like the person recently got married or, otherwise committed, and it's almost like they were disillusioned right away. And in those cases, when I get the Four of Wands, to me it's saying, keep your eyes on the prize, what you're really looking for in life. Don't settle for less. If you've made a mistake and you were too hasty, if your Mars is in Aries or your Venus is in Aries, or you have, even if you have the moon in a very impulsive, like a fire sign energy, and you were too rash, you kind of let your passion get the best of you. You can still salvage your life. Some people, they will rather stay in a bad situation to save face rather than just like, who cares what other people think if they think you made a mistake. It's important to be able to do what you feel is right, and it doesn't matter. I mean, it's almost like comical to think that people should sacrifice their happiness so that other people won't think that they made a mistake. That's silly, to say the least. I think I'm going to just leave it there. I can't like think of every interpretation, but I think that covers a lot of what I'm thinking of right now. What crosses you is the Nine of Pentacles, and this is a card of, financial independence. So perhaps you would like to leave a situation, but your finances, the way that you deal with money, can make it hard for you to support yourself, or maybe you just haven't bothered to save money and you're just kind of living paycheck to paycheck. If any of that is true, then it's really good to have a game plan if this is something that you are thinking of doing, because like I said, with the Hermit, you could either be separated from a partner, or you could just be spending a lot of time alone and kind of thinking, how do I deal with this situation? And by the way, the Ace of Swords can be like seeing, that what another person is doing, like if another person cheated, or if you were cheating. I mean, I hate to say it like, oh, you were cheating, but if you were involved with a married man or woman, that could be that you did not know that that person was married, or that you assumed that they were about to get divorced. Like they might have said they were unhappy in their relationship and they stayed anyway, and now you're realizing you're just being strung along. And the higher message in that type of situation is that that their marriage comes first. And also, I would say it's that you can't hope to have a serious relationship unless you respect other people's relationships, even if you didn't start it. I mean, not everybody will just continue to go along with it. And I understand that the heart gets in the way. But if somebody didn't tell you ahead of time that they were involved and you found out after the fact, and then and then you stayed in that situation, I would think that it would be hard to truly trust that person ultimately, because they deceived you. And, you know, it's hard to admit that, because obviously we want to think that we are, you know, not that gullible, but, you know, some people just don't tell who they are. So it's not your fault if you got involved with somebody not knowing they were married. But it becomes your responsibility, or you become a part of it when you're a party to it, when you know what you're doing and you continue to do it. Not to guilt you, but to let you know that, you know, when the golden rule says, isn't that, you know, treat others as you would like to be treated. And so that would mean that you think about that other person and think about them before yourself. And think, you know, how would I feel if my partner did this to me? I wouldn't like it, you know. And this person may tell you, oh yeah, well, we haven't gotten divorced officially, but we're about to, and this person is really mean to me and all this stuff. And so it's really important not to believe the hype and to just pay attention to what other people do, not what they say. Some people can talk a really great game, but they don't deliver. They're kind of full of it, you know, in a lot of ways. So, you know, there's all kinds of possibilities here. And by the way, I would say too, with the Nine of Pentacles, this might even be your boss, and you might feel like I have to leave my job if I'm really going to distance myself from this person, and that threatens your money. What's coming in is a Page of Pentacles. This, like I said, we're having a Mercury retrograde. So if the Hermit card is somebody that you've separated from, or maybe you've even broken up with this person, and you might hear from them again. If this is a person that you have been waiting for them to get divorced, it could be that you start the relationship in the near future. A Page of Pentacles can be new, you know, possibly a new relationship with somebody of the earth element. And Virgo is the earth element. And so some kind of message that connects with, you know, somebody who you have been involved with maybe in the past. But this is more of a practical nature. So if you're out of work and you've been looking for a job, maybe some of you will receive a message that you have the job, or that you can come in to interview. And that may be something that you feel really good about, like, oh wow, I'm going to do it. And I would say too that you're going to do very well, I think, also with this Jupiter and Capricorn situation, because it's a fellow earth sign. So it'll be very, you know, form a trine to you. So manifestation will become a lot easier. So this may be the first sign of that. But then especially at the end of December, right around Christmas time, that will be a solar eclipse. And that is the 9th house for you, Taurus. And that could even involve travel, possibly. So I did pick, for the outcome, I picked a card that I don't end on, which is the Nine of Swords. This is a card of anxiety. And so it's not a resolution card as far as I'm concerned. When I get a card like that, I think of kind of like, oh, what do they call that? That's kind of like a warning, cautionary tale. Where if you are allowing yourself to be controlled by somebody else, if you do not tune into yourself, like the Hermit suggests, that you may continue to find yourself in a situation that is not as you would like, but it may feel like you're in a holding pattern. And there's even some cards here that connect with career. Okay, so let me just say that for a minute here for those of you who are interested in career and not love. The Hermit card may be that you're seeing what you need more clearly now with the Ace of Swords. You're really you're really seeing that the direction you need to go in life. And perhaps you were even had a good job, but it was taking its toll on your domestic life, and that maybe that's why the Four of Wands came in. And the thing that you're afraid of is connected to the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, this idea of not having the money that you used to have. But you know what? This may be hard for Taurus to kind of like really believe or embrace, but you will always be better off if you feel a certain peace of mind than if you are making a lot of money and being very stressed out and maybe not having enough time. So it's like, they have this thing called time poverty, where somebody just doesn't have the time to do anything. Well, that's kind of foolish to buy like a big house, what you consider your dream house, and all that stuff, and hardly ever get to use it except to sleep. And then on the weekends, you might be so burnt out that it's hard for you to just do normal things. You may just want to kind of, veg out, but you're not really living your life to the fullest. So, and if you have a family, you may snap at them and stuff like that. So you want to really kind of like look at your anxiety and see, where is it coming from? Why do I have this need for this false sense of security that really is not real? That really only exists in my mind. And if I'm honest with myself, I don't feel more secure when I have more money, because I feel like I'm emotionally depleted, physically depleted. So I picked another card, and this was kind of a vibe I was feeling. Three of Wands, about entrepreneurship, working for yourself perhaps. That might be something that appeals to you. Perhaps it hasn't in the past, but Uranus is in your sign. So you may be really craving a lot of freedom, more than normal. And it could extend to the type of work that you're doing, where you don't have to have set hours. And usually Taurus, you like to have those kinds of schedules and those kinds of set hours. But you may feel like that's too confining now and you're breaking free from it. Okay, that's what I have for you, Taurus. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you'd like a personal reading, the link to my website is below. My website is rainandmoonastrology.com. Oh, hello. I'm going to pick a card for you. What am I talking about? I just went right into the spiel. When I lean toward love, I am led. And it's very interesting because while that can be true of love itself, to me, this card is really saying, like, follow your bliss. Do what you love. There's a book, Do What You Love and the Money Will Follow. But even if the money is not comparable to what you've made in the past, if you are not deprived materially and you're doing something that you really feel good about, that more than makes up for the discrepancy of income. As long as you can, support yourself, of course. If you're not supporting yourself, if it's not enough, if it's inadequate, that's a different story. But if it's adequate, you should definitely think about it, because it could point to, having the ability to feel like when you get up in the morning that you're doing what you came here to do. And this is one of the things I love to do when I do natal charts, when I do life path readings. I'm trying to help people who may be at a crossroads in their life, or they might be even retired and they still want to contribute to the world. So anyway, check me out at rainemoonAstrology.com. Take care of yourselves. Bye.